Hello. It's Thursday. Thursday. Haven't even had a sip of wine yet. Got my new hat. Carlos, who did my writing studio, gave it to me. That's not totally true. He gave it to my husband, and I've now taken it. Ooh, that's good wine. Hi, Suzanne. This wine is entitled Horse and Plow. I would just like to point out that Melissa, Krista, Donna, are y'all supporters? Because it ain't showing up here. This is a good way for me to catch people who have dropped off. Robin's here. This wine, it's made with organic grapes. It's like really good. Yes, Debbie, I am feeling better. Thank you for asking. I have been sick. You know the best thing about being sick? And I tell myself this when I'm sick, like when you feel better, you're going to be so thankful that you feel better. My gosh, I am thankful. Hi, Kelly, Elizabeth. Anyway, this wine is good. I'd also like to point out before I begin that I have it here in this bag. You see this? This bag? This is a masterpiece. My friend Vivian Howard wishes she could cook this good, but she can't. Hi, Ann. Thank you, Norma. Melissa is a supporter +2. Thank you, Melissa. Hi, Heidi. This is really good. I'm going to let you have a peek. Fish tacos from Waterman's, right here in Edenton. And the best thing about these fish tacos is this sauce. I don't know what's in the sauce, but it's real good. Thank you, Angela. I like my toboggan. Donna, you are. It just didn't show up. I'm just accusing you all. I'm always trying to get my number of supporters up, and I just don't seem to be able to. People think $5 a month is just too much, but I mean, how could it be too much? I don't know what's better, fish tacos or this wine, or maybe the two of them together. My husband is in the other room watching Chris Kumo or Tales. Yeah, watch Kumo later. My husband is watching women fight. It's true. What are you watching? Thomas, what are you watching in there? He's not answering me. Darn it. I'm going to go find out. What are you watching in here?
I'm watching Real Women.
Real Women. I mean, this is horrible. What the hell? What is this?
This is life right here, played out in the octagon.
I mean, Melissa asked if you finished the prison porn.
Yeah, sadly I did.
He did. He watched all 7 series. While we're in here, though, look at my new couch. Ooh. Fancy, huh? This couch is from the Habitat store. It's $140. I know, so fancy. My husband is furloughed. You might never. Sex Education Part 3. No, I can't have any more sex education talks. It's exhausting. I'm gonna have to buy that terrible book. Do you know why it says I'm a top fan and not a supporter? Maybe your subscription expired. Hello from the snowy mountains. I'm jealous. I'm so jealous that, in fact, this evening, I made a reservation at Wintergreen. And we are taking our big 3 skiing on Sunday. Yep, Sunday. We're going to go to Wintergreen and spend one night in the lodge, which is where I always stayed growing up. And I haven't stayed there with my children. We've always stayed in a condo. Better than watching the Cornhole Champion. Ugh. And So anyway, we're going to go skiing on Sunday. Amos is not going. That's a long road trip for Amos for 2 days because it takes him, a day to get settled in. But we're going to go back in February, and he'll go then and get to do skiing. Hello from Savannah. Hello, Rhonda. So anyway, speaking of snow. Now, today has been a very exciting day. I can't take my coat off because I've had on these pajamas for like 3 days. I'm having a bra. I don't want to scare anybody. Today, after I've been lying around in the bed feeling bad, I've had a lot of time to think, and I've been thinking about education. A lot. And I will say that I am so thankful. Oh, Suzanne said you're missing lots of entertainment if you're a supporter. It's true. I will say that it's not cold in here because I don't have on a bra, so I'm wearing this coat. It's chilly-ish. I just turned the heat up upstairs. My house has been for sale for years. No rush. I love my house. Now, education. So today, or the last few days, I've been getting more messages. So the wonderful thing about being a blogger is that people write you messages. People that work at DPI, people that used to work at DPI, parents that are going to be on the nightly news on Saturday, schools, principals. I mean, it's just a wonderful trove of information that's always given to me. It's quite a sacred sacrament. I don't think that's proper lingo. But anyway, I get all this information and I don't tell it to people, right? No. Hanya's mother is just texting me. Wonder what that's about. So I get all this information, and then I have to decide what to do with it. And nobody wants to lose their job, so I can't ever say who it is or who was, or people don't want to lose their good reputations. So anyway, it's quite a debacle. Now, I think of you every time I go into the Teacher's Lounge because they have that poster of Mark Johnson hanging up. So anyway, Mark Johnson responded to my post today. He wrote on it. And he was annoyed with me. So on this Saturday night, Jim Goodnight is going to be on NBC Nightly News. Now, I could do anything and would never get on NBC Nightly News. But if you're Jim Goodnight, a billionaire from North Carolina, and you want to talk about education, come right in. They're having him. So good. So he's talking about the importance for early childhood and pre-K. Now, what's interesting is we've had all these, I was looking back and couldn't find his comments. Yes, it's strange. So sometimes when I look, they appear hidden, and other times they pop up. So anyway, the Read to Achieve business, $150 million, is a mass failure. NC State, some wonderful researchers from State, said this is a mess. And what we need to do is we need to kind of re-examine how we're approaching children, which I agree. Now remember, in March, the federal government bequeathed $74 million to North Carolina. In North Carolina, put that money in an account, and then they pulled $50 million out of it and used it for whatever they felt like. So ultimately, early childhood only got $24 million. Now, Mark Johnson, I would assume, knew that this happened. And I scrolled today, looked through news posts, looked through his website. I didn't hear him whining and fussing and complaining about it. If I were the superintendent, I would be like, hello, why is the General Assembly stealing our money? Hi, Cody. So he didn't complain. Well, then he gets mad at me because I say, well, finally, here's Jim Goodnight. He's going to come and save education. And he said, I was standing right up there with him, and I don't appreciate this misinformation. It's not misinformation. He said Read to Achieve has not failed, even though the researchers have said it failed. And he didn't fight for that $74 million. And he said, Read to Achieve, we just need more summer camp and more of the same of what's not working. Research is very clear on what works. It is. High quality early child care programs make children good learners later. It's just true. It's not my opinion. It's just a fact. Now, what's also interesting is that the office, now I'm going to forget the name, the Office of Early Development, it's in at DPI. Last year at this time, it had 25 employees. Now it has 15. There were 12 part-time employees, many past educators who are delightful people to speak to, and they've all lost their jobs. Office of Early Education. Now, if you cared so much about early childhood, why would you be slashing the Office of Early Education? It's just a question, which I haven't seen an answer for. Though Mark said he would be glad to talk to you about it, but I refuse to meet with them. This old, I refuse to meet with them. It's so old. I never refused to meet with them. It was in May last year. They offered some times to meet. I said I couldn't meet. I offered times. They couldn't meet. And then it was the summer. Now, anybody that knows me knows I took the summer off, except I did do one talk with Edward Jones because it was at Myrtle Beach. So anyway, it wasn't that I didn't meet with them. I just was on vacation. What a pain. In this October, I got this, email from Joe Mamoni, who told me that I was doxing. I had to look that word up. Now I can't remember what it is today. Anyway, and that I accused people of taking money or something. Now, if I did these things that are so terrible, why hasn't anybody sued me? They ought to. Maybe because it's not true. Now, anyway, we have DPI, whose only job is to educate our children. We have a superintendent. Oh, I called him Hitler. I apologized for calling him Hitler. It was a moment of weakness. I shouldn't have called him Hitler. I'm sorry. There, see, I said it. I can apologize. Now, DPI's only job is to educate our kids. So he keeps talking about testing. What is that noise? We're not going to do all this testing. La, 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 la. Oh, search for and publish private or identifying information. I never published private information. I think that day I spent like 2 hours calling everybody at DPI and realized that no one had voicemail except one person. I think it was Drew, somebody, and he had his cell number on his voicemail. Now, how can that be doxing? Anybody could call the voicemail. That's not doxing. I've never doxed. If I was going to doxing, I would publish Kim Martin's cell phone or Mark's cell phone number. I mean, I could if I wanted to, but I don't want to dox. Now, anyway, DPI has a good job. Now, what's happened in the Office of Early Education, which is very interesting, and you're not going to see really evidence of this. This is breaking news in February. So they've changed, hi Wendy, they've changed the report cards for North Carolina, and they're taking formative assessments. So these are assessments that teachers do on children in elementary schools to help better teach them. Formative assessment is what it's called. They're taking data from formative assessment that is only used or supposed to drive teaching, and they're using that information to grade elementary schools. Elementary schools have always sort of gotten to go under the radar because we don't test till 3rd grade. Now, a lot of people in the office really are upset about this because this type of assessment is never to be used to evaluate a school. Now, the question is, why are they doing that? So interesting. Well, I'll tell you why I think. I think it's because the Read to Achieve data says Berger's $150 million plan is kaput. I think this way they can say, well, look, these kids are terribly behind when they begin kindergarten. So now we don't have to blame that Read to Achieve is failing. We can just blame their families. Now today, I'm not going to be able to find it now because that would be too easy. But I looked through Thomas's 3rd grade EOG scores. I know I kept them. I might have thrown them away. In Thomas, in his beginning of year, he got a 1. He got a 1 in the 3rd grade. Well, then, lo and behold, he got a 4 at the end of the year. And last year, he was number 1 or number 2 in 6th graders for English. Yet he got a 1 in the 3rd grade. Do you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. It's very exciting. Thomas attended preschool. Thomas had lots of access to toys and good, solid play, lots of peers. And when he went to kindergarten, he didn't know all his letters. No, sir, he didn't. But like the children in Finland, he learned things a little bit later, and then lo and behold, he's a successful student, because that's what the research says. The research doesn't say the earlier kids learn to read, the smarter they're going to be. It doesn't. It says the opposite. So the research is so easy to follow, yet why don't we? Now, this guy I love, Justin Parmenter, he writes a blog. Of course, now I can't remember the name of it. He's a teacher, and he's quite famous because he really does good writing and wonderful things in his classroom. Look him up on Facebook. So he wrote about how Mark Johnson, all his testing things sound cute in theory, but it's really policy. He said, like, how is it going to matter to a kid, a 2-hour test versus a 3-hour test? And I think he's dead on, because the policies of Read to Achieve are what dictate the testing and the testing atmosphere in schools. So our school does a lot of testing. I think my kids last year counted up 40 hours, where the federal government says you shouldn't do more than 2%. No, caffeinated rage, that's a different one. That's good too, though. So they're doing this testing because they need our scores brought up. 3rd grade teachers get paid based on their children's scores. So today, a 3rd grade teacher from Edgecombe County told me that she's about to get $8,000 based on her kids' scores from last year. $8,000. That's a lot of money. What about the kindergarten and the 1st and the 2nd grade teachers? They don't get anything, just the 3rd grade teachers. So we have a General Assembly that thinks that's a great way to promote teaching. And teaching the wrong thing. Early reading. And then none of the early teachers get any money. The 3rd grade teachers don't even like getting the money. This teacher said that she told me, she was like, it ain't even worth it. What do you got to say about that? Not when I was teaching 3rd grade. Oh, yeah. Russell had a teacher a few years ago. They had to write each other notes like, you're going to do great on the test. I had to sign a contract that he would eat something. And I think she got like $16,000. She just moved on after that. I'm not an expert on much. I'm not the best mother. I'm not the best wife. I'm not the best housekeeper. But I know education. I really do. And if I don't know, I'll find out about it. So tonight, before I did this video, I shared one more thing, and it was about the Safer Schools app. So January 10th, there was a state board meeting, which I didn't go to because, you know, I have a life. And Kim Martin talked about the $5 million app and why we needed a call center in North Carolina. A call center, we're talking about a building. It's going to cost $3 million per year to keep it up. Also, students can call in tips for danger. No. They had like 147 tips. Can you imagine that expense for tips about bullying? Sorry, but no. Like, my school just got locked doors this year. Anyway, whatever. So Kim Martin says to the State Board of Education, and I wrote this letter to the State Board tonight. Kim Martin says, 90% of students said they would use, oh shoot, I got to plug in my phone, said they would use an app if it was available. That sounds fairly promising, right? Except that she altered the research. Now, let me tell you something. You're not allowed to do that. Is my phone charging now? You're not allowed to alter data. What the actual statistics said, 90% of students said they would use, or they maybe would use, an app. That's two different things. You can't leave out that part, because it basically undermines the entire statistic. And that statistic is what you're using Maybe they could use the app to improve the school's physical security. Yes, Sandy Hook. Remember, Sandy Hook is free. Melissa said, the trailer I teach in needs a lock. It's wide open for anyone to come and go. Yes, Melissa, but you're going to have a call center so students can call and talk about the fact that you need a lock. I mean, maybe this hat makes me feel bright, but come on, people. So I hope the state board members, I hope they watch this. And I hope they don't just listen to everybody at DPI who says I'm naughty. But I hope they'll say, you know what? We need to ask about, like, where is she getting this data? If I just start citing data and you say to me, Adrian, where did you hear that? I can say to you, hey, that was a great study called the Abecedarian Project out of Frank Porter Graham Child Development. Or it was the high scope research. I mean, I can flat tell you some data. When I did my master's at Chapel Hill, you had to do the comprehensive exams. DPI is Department of Public Instruction. You did your comprehensive exams, you had to cite research in the exam. Yeah, you did. I thought it was so dumb, but now I get it. It's because it's important to be accurate when you're citing statistics. Is there any data from places like Miami-Dade? Yeah, I would think there would be, but the trouble is, Kim Martin doesn't want to hear about Miami-Dade. No, she doesn't. She had this girl that was working for her named Jennifer, who I really liked. And she's gone. She quit. Why'd she quit? I wonder. Anyway, it's very informative. The Center for Safer Schools seems to be kind of piddling out, but you don't hear anything about it. But I mean, Kim Martin's still making $80,000 a year. She has a bachelor's degree at DPI. Ain't nobody can do nothing without a master's degree around there. Anyway, I just want y'all to think and ask questions. Think. So Saturday night, we're going to watch the nightly news with Lester Holt, and we're going to see what Jim Goodnight and Mr. Red Hat have to say about early childhood education. And then we're going to see what Mark Johnson has to say about how he suddenly loves early childhood, even though he didn't fight for that $50 million that Berger stole from us. Nope. And that's the truth. Now, there was one other thing. Now I can't remember what it was. What was it? Oh, teachers. The federal government is very clear on testing, and you test in order, their main premise of testing is to make education more equitable. Did Blair find her coat? Yeah, she found the coat. It was in her room. So we want education to be more equitable. But in North Carolina, we're using testing not for more equity. We're not. I mean, you can't tell me that we are. All we see over and over again is, boy, if you're in poverty, then your scores are probably going to be crappy. I mean, why is it that all the schools that get the A don't have poverty? I mean, it's just annoying. Yes, and meanwhile in Nash County, there's a school without a copier and a teacher that's not allowed to ask for a copier. I don't know why. But anyway, maybe it makes somebody look bad to have a blogger talking about a GoFundMe about a copier. Nash County's got enough mess anyway. That's all I got. It's Thirsty Thursday. If you're a supporter, I'll see you for Shit Show Friday. And if you're not a supporter, I won't see you. Because you're not going to be allowed to watch this. Nope. No, you're not. Nope, because this is a business. And Mark Johnson and Joe Mamoni think that I am making money off this blog by being difficult, then I'm going to be difficult. I'm doing dry January. Ooh, that sounds terrible. I'm starting all my healthiness in February. Because it's not February yet. Don't I have a little bit more time? When is Shit Show Friday, Adrian? I mean, what time? Shit Show Friday is tomorrow night. It's going to be a little earlier, probably around 8. I have trouble getting Amos to sleep, though. He makes me lie down with him. And Big Thomas is going hunting, so he's not going to be here to get him to bed. So that's sort of a problem for me. Janie will post information. Oh, good. They are threatened by you and your truth serum. Ooh, I love the term truth serum. I mean, really. It's just not, when are you announcing your candidacy? I'm not. But I tell you who I hope is going to announce their candidacy is Jen Mangrum. She commented tonight on my post. So she ran against Berger and lost. But she is very similar. She has a PhD in curriculum instruction, which is what my minor for my PhD is in. And she has an early childhood background. She's been an educator for 30 years, and she teaches at UNC Greensboro now. And I think she might run for superintendent. And I think she can win. I mean, all people have to do is use their brain and vote and say, you know what? Like, will we are you at the auction? Will we are you at the auction? Beth Kovalo, what the hell does that mean? So let's hope she runs. Now, I can't be a campaign manager. That would require too much of me. But I can certainly help and show up. No, don't forget, Mark Johnson is having a free dinner for people on February the 19th. You can go to an Eventbrite thing. I'll share it. And I am going to do that. That is on a Tuesday. It's free dinner. Might be like the Hamburglar. We might have cheeseburgers from McDonald's. From 6 to 8. And then at 8 o'clock, anybody that's there would like to meet me, we are going to have a drink at a bar. I don't know which one, though. I went to one with Vivian Howard and all these chefs when I was there. I'll try to find out the name of it. I think Ashley Christensen owns the restaurant or something. Anyway. So that's February 19th. That's exciting. Jen Mangrum is her name. Mangrum. Jen Mangrum. She's sharp. And she really actually does care. Will we see you at the auction? I don't know anything about this auction. Do I? Beth Kovalo at Rocky Mount Academy? Nobody's told me anything about it. Might. No cold fries. Have you seen the program that Virginia First Lady is doing for early childhood education? No, I haven't, but that sounds so exciting. No, but I need to look. I like anything's doing good. I do. Carry on, people. Hope I'll see you tomorrow. Is your house cold? Sort of. I was outside smoking. That's why I'm cold. Just go ahead and fess up. See, I have no reason to lie. I'd just rather be honest. Honest. Goodbye. Thank you all for caring. I think we have good things ahead in the future. Good things. Not as good as these fish tacos, but pretty damn close.